we might be looking at a huge miscalculation in the tense standoff between the US and Iran. Today, we're going to break down the absolutely bold ultimatum Iran has just slapped on the table.
And it all kicks off with this, an incredibly confident statement. You've got Iranian generals coming out and openly claiming that they, and only they, get to decide when this whole conflict is over. I mean, wow, that's a powerful way to say you think you're holding all the cards.
So, okay, if they're so confident, what are these conditions? What demands do they actually believe give them the ultimate upper hand here? This, right here, is where the real standoff begins.
All right, let's get right into it. We're going to break down what Iran is demanding. They've laid out 3 core conditions, and let me tell you, these are absolutely not small asks. They're non-negotiable.
Okay, so first up, full financial compensation. We're talking billions of dollars from the US to cover all of Iran's losses. Second, they want a written, ironclad guarantee that the US and Israel will never attack them in the future. And third, and this one is huge, a complete and total withdrawal of the entire US military from the Persian Gulf. Now, let's pause on that third one for a second, because it's a really big deal. The Persian Gulf is an incredibly strategic area. It's home to a ton of American military bases and a massive naval presence that's been there for decades. A complete US pullout? That would completely change the balance of power for the entire region.
So Iran throws down this gauntlet. What does the US do? Well, let's just say they didn't exactly rush to the negotiating table. The reaction was fast, and it was a firm, absolute no. Yeah, from the American perspective, even just thinking about these terms is seen as a massive strategic loss. The phrase being thrown around is that it would be a very big humiliation on the world stage. Just not going to happen. And this really lays out the deadlock perfectly, doesn't it? On one side, you have Iran's demands for money, guarantees, and basically kicking the U.S. out of the region. And on the other side, the U.S. sees this as totally unacceptable, a strategic humiliation. So their response isn't negotiation, it's a direct counter-threat. And here it is. This is that counter-threat. With Iran's conditions seen as impossible, the reported response from the U.S. is a plan for a big attack on Iran. And get this, the timing could be as soon as next week. So that's where we are. And it leads to the billion-dollar question, right? Where in the world does this go from here? With both sides dug in this deep, the path forward is anything but clear. Honestly, it looks pretty dangerous. The first big question mark is the scale of whatever America does next. I mean, what does a big attack even mean? How big is big? What would the targets be?
Right now, those are all ominous, unanswered questions.
And that brings us to the most chilling question of all. If things really spiral out of control, if conventional attacks escalate, could we get to a point where the US or Israel feel they have to use the ultimate weapon? The possibility, even if it feels remote, is now part of the conversation.
So, when you boil it all down, what's the one thing we can be sure of? Well, while a lot is up in the air, one thing is crystal clear. With these kinds of ultimatums being rejected and military threats being made, this conflict is showing zero signs of cooling down. The standoff is very, very real.